Hello and welcome to ED Insight, where we get you a 360-degree view of the big picture in business and economy. I'm Sridhan Ramakrishnan, and here's what we have for you on the show today. India's economic engine is running full stroke, but its ignition point of the small and medium sector is in need of a major overhaul. Find out why. But there are those who find opportunity even in adversity. Meet the brave entrepreneurs who have weathered the storm. And what can India do to make its small enterprises more competitive? Our top story first. The 11th plan targets to more than double SME production to 14 lakh crore rupees and create 70 lakh new jobs. That's an ambitious but unrealistic target. The truth is, India's SMEs are in a mess. Far from growing, thousands of them are folding up every year. Lakshmi Subramanian tells you why.
12 years ago, Ramchandra Mahajan quit his cushy job at Crompton Greaves and began a small generator assembling unit in Chennai with a meager capital of 2 lakh rupees. Going solo was a good move, and his company Dominion Power Systems touched a peak turnover of 38 crore rupees in 2008. But the global recession cast its dark shadow on units like his, and Mahajan found himself trapped in a vicious working capital cycle marked with high inventory, longer recovery periods and a severe cash crunch. 2 years later, turnover has shrunk to a fourth of what it was, and he's still struggling to raise funds to keep the unit afloat.
We don't have any other means to take this business forward. It's only the banks that have to come and help us, or else we'll have to restrict ourselves to very specific business where we get paid in advance, and that's very rare.
Mahajan is not alone. Many SMEs have been left in the lurch because of payment defaults or delays. That's despite the fact that the MSMED Act stipulates that medium, small and micro units should be paid within 45 days. According to CRISIL, just 16% of SMEs receive payments within a month of delivery, 25% receive it between 30 and 60 days, and the balance more than 60 days later. The smaller the enterprise, the weaker is its receivables position. According to the report, 40% of SMEs with turnover up to 10 million rupees and 43% with a turnover of 10 million rupees to 50 million rupees have receivables of 90 days and more. A sizable chunk of SMEs fall in this category and face severe liquidity pressure.
It has a material impact on the financing cost of SMEs and therefore the profitability of SMEs. Our analysis shows that the impact can be as high as 15% of the profits of the SME.
That's bad news because India has more than 26 million MSME units that employ nearly 59 million people. Of this, only 1.5 million units are registered and the remaining 94% are unregistered. Most MSME units in India belong to the micro segment, which comprises enterprises that have an investment of less than 25 lakh rupees. 55% of SMEs are based in urban India, and a majority of these units are engaged in manufacturing activities. And nearly 55% of all MSMEs are in Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, West Bengal, Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka. According to the government, the largest number of SMEs are engaged in the food products sector, followed by textiles and ready-made garments, basic metal, chemical and chemical products, metal products, machinery and equipment, transport equipment, rubber and plastic products, furniture and paper products.
SME sector in India is also playing a very critical role despite all the constraints that we have in India.
The MSME sector is also important because it contributes to 45% of the country's manufacturing output in terms of value and 40% of its exports. While exports have recovered significantly over the previous year, they've been erratic. For instance, exports fell in the months of April, May, July and October. Exports in turn are dependent on the currency rate, and so an appreciating rupee makes Indian products uncompetitive in the global market.
There are sectors which are export dependent. For example, you have sectors such as textiles, you have sectors such as metal products, you have sectors such as garments, which are still under the weather. So these sectors will take some time to come out of the recession.
Time is critical because many SMEs have been unable to service interest on loans in the past 2 years. According to the Reserve Bank of India, the number of SIC units rose sharply in 2009. The Apex Bank defines a SIC unit as one where any of the borrowable accounts of the enterprise remains NPA for 3 months or more, or an erosion in the net worth due to accumulated losses of 50% of net worth. While the numbers for 2010 are still awaited, there are telltale signs that there is no reversal in trend.
Costs are going up, your manpower cost is going up, inflation is hit a maximum high, but the cost that my client wants from me is rock bottom low.
We've got a very small margin of risk, and also the external factors, whether it's foreign competition, whether it's credit, whether it's a lot of things that affect us.
If you want to go and buy a land, it's not either available or it is not available at an affordable cost. We have the problem of bureaucracy where things get delayed.
Access to finance is very limited. Once you go to the bankers for getting the finance to upgrade your business, so they look into getting some kind of collateral securities and all those things.
Next to agriculture, SMEs only will provide the largest employment in our country. It is the backbone of our country. But we don't get the support up to mark from the government.
Financial institutions who lend you money will come and start disturbing you for repayments instead of supporting you. So they are only a partner of yours in your profits.
The root of the problem is poor productivity. Indian SMEs are saddled with obsolete technology, unskilled labor, poor marketing capabilities, and most importantly, poor infrastructure. This leads them to have little or no financial discipline. That explains why despite the number of SMEs having doubled between 2003 and 2008, their contribution to GDP has grown just a little over 2%. Poor productivity in turn has meant higher costs and lower margins.
First and foremost, he is supplying to large industry. They are competition, so they will pin down his prices to such a level. He is operating within 3 to 4%. Within 3 to 4%, he can't maintain a current assets to current liability ratio 1.33. Naturally, when these ratios do not maintain, banks ask for higher interest.
To be fair, the government recognizes these problems. That's why it has various schemes like the Credit Guarantee Scheme, the Cluster Development Program, Credit Linked Capital Subsidy Scheme, Scheme for Fund for Regeneration of Traditional Industries, ISO Certification Reimbursement Schemes, the Scheme for Reimbursement of Barcode Certification, Marketing Development Assistance, National Manufacturing Competitiveness Program, the Prime Minister's Employment Generation Program, and the Skill Development Program. The RBI too has nursing programs for potentially viable weak units. But all this is not nearly enough. That's because the root of the problem is the fact that Indian policies encourage smaller units. But with the markets opening up, their small size is proving to be a hurdle because they don't have the scale to compete. So if a large buyer such as Toys R Us or Walmart wants to buy toys from India, SMEs can't participate because they don't have the capacity to service mega orders. And unless this issue is tackled, SMEs will continue to be trapped in a vicious cycle.
But there are some daring entrepreneurs who overcome these challenges rather successfully. That and more is coming up after this short break. Stay with us.